to everybody that is watching live, that is here with us, and people that are going to watch the recording later. Thanks so much for coming and joining in virtual time and space. Let's actually start today. I just want you to close your eyes and let your hands rest wherever is comfortable. And bring all of your attention, like you could collect, like imagine you're picking up and collecting all the little pieces of yourself that you have scattered around time and space. So maybe you have part of yourself still stuck at work, or part of yourself stuck at a conversation you had with a friend, or you have part of yourself stuck in an email that you need to write. Imagine you're collecting yourself up, all these little parts of your being, and you're bringing all the pieces together to right here in this moment. So often we're scattered and we're thinking of other things, other events, other situations, and we're missing the present moment. So as you sit here, just feel whatever you're sitting on, feel yourself connected to the floor. Notice what parts of your pelvis, of your legs, do you feel one side more than the other? Maybe you feel one part of your leg compared to the other part on the other side. Feel the weight and the pressure of your hands as they're resting in your lap or on your thighs. When we do a mindfulness practice, we're inviting ourselves to the present moment. We're pulling the scattered and frantic aspects of our being, and we're pulling it all together to really feel and appreciate and acknowledge this moment. Feel your breath. You have an inhale and an exhale. And all of a sudden you get scattered for a second. Your attention goes elsewhere. Acknowledge it. Gently bring yourself back to the present moment, to your breath. So the yoga practice is so nice because there's all these cues and things to pay attention to that help draw us into the present moment. When we do things like meditation or shavasana, it's a little bit harder. And when we're doing things in our daily life, very often we're only fragments, only scattered. We're never fully in the moment. So this practice reminds us and invites us of how to do that on the mat so that we can do it off the mat. So when you're doing simple tasks like washing your hands, sweeping your floor, emptying the dishwasher, folding laundry, taking a shower, when you're in conversations with people, we can begin to be more fully present based on what we're going to do right now. So bring your hands together, palms touching. We'll sing the sound Om. You can join if you'd like or simply listen. And when you sing, try to be present, or when you're listening to me sing, May the fruits of this practice be for the upliftment of all beings. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And may all beings know true joy and love and the causes of true joy and love. Thanks so much, friends. You can release your hands and open your eyes. And we're going to start on your back today. So as we move, there's lots of attention to detail and to alignment, which helps us to really feel our bodies and be present and be right here, right now. So take your feet as wide as the sticky mat, take your arms out to a T, and then drop your knees over to the right side. For windshield wipers, flex both feet. You can look over your left shoulder if that feels okay in your neck. Just notice, feel what parts of your body are applying pressure onto the floor, and you feel the floor pushing back up into your body. So just noticing what parts are resting on the floor, what parts are free from the floor. Bring your knees back up to center, then go to the other side. Windshield wipers, knees to the left. And then notice here, so maybe more of your left outer leg is connected to the floor compared to the other side. So what do you feel touching the floor? Notice the right shoulder touching the floor. Flex both feet to protect your ankles and knees. And then inhale, come back up to center. Take your hands and place them in the front of the hip bones, right in front of the pelvis. And you're going to do those good, we call them the transverse abdominis contractions. So think of it like a belt that goes across the front of your pelvis. You're going to engage that area so that your hands, you feel the muscle get taut underneath your fingertips. Hold for about 5 seconds and then relax. If you're not sure if you're doing it, you can lift your head off the floor and feel, does that get toned and taut underneath your hands? And then try to do it without lifting your head. Most of you guys know the drill. You can start with moving your legs. So you would just march in place, lift your right foot, then bring that down, lift your left foot. So you're sort of marching in space, bending one knee, lifting it up, marching, keeping your knee bent at 90, lifting the other one. If that feels pretty easy, you can lift both feet off the floor and just hold. Or you can start to tap. One heel taps down, bring it back up. Other heel taps down, bring it back up. You guys, most of you have done this with me before, so keep your back totally flat, connected to the earth. Keep the core strong. Make sure your fingertips, where your fingertips are, feel that that muscle stays hard. It doesn't do a divot, or it doesn't get soft, but the muscle stays nice and hard. You can make your legs straighter as you kick out, which is more challenging. So straighten the leg as you kick out, alternating. You can also add the arms. So whichever leg kicks forward, the opposite arm reaches back. And again, the straighter your legs are, the harder it is. So choose the version that feels challenging, but also that you can maintain the core contraction. You can maintain your breath. You can maintain your back flat on the floor. Got about 10 more seconds. And then make sure you do the same amount on each side. So if you have to even out. And then place both feet flat on the floor. Arms by your sides. Push down into your feet and your hands and your shoulders into the floor. And then lift your hips up off the floor for a bridge pose. Squeeze your butt muscles, lift your hips high. Now we haven't really done any back bending. We haven't done any back bending. So if you have any discomfort in your back, don't lift up so high. You're welcome to push into your arms and your feet as much as you can, keeping it pain-free. And as much as you can keep your belly engaged, your butt muscles engaged. Really push those heels down. Feel the stretch through the front of your hips. Feel the Little bit of stretch in your low back. Really drive those heels into the floor. And then slowly release back down. Make your right leg straight. Your left knee stays bent. Place your hands behind your head. Keep your core nice and strong, that good core contraction. And then you're going to do like a little mini crunch where you lift just your shoulder blades off the floor and then lower back down. You can totally clear your shoulder blades off the floor if that feels okay. If that feels too much, just do like a mini version, half that, where your shoulder blade stays on the floor. So little mini crunch, sit up, nice and slow and controlled, up and down. 2 more on this side. And then switch sides, so make your left leg straight, bend your right knee. Same thing, little baby crunch. Again, you can totally clear your shoulder blades off the floor and then come back down, or partially, and then come back down. Both versions will give you good, strong core activation. Just do the one that feels best for you right now. 2 more. You can release your hands. Lift both feet up off the floor. Keep your back totally flat. So your knees are bent to 90 degrees, and some of you will just stay right here. Option 2 is to place your hands behind. Actually, let's not place the hands behind the head. Let's take the arms straight out, so like you're reaching on either sides of your legs. And then you can do a little mini crunch here, and then slowly lower back down. Little mini crunch. So if that feels too intense, just stay holding. Keep your head on the floor and just stay with the knees bent. Hold here. Or you're doing these little mini sit-ups where you're reaching your hands like you're reaching them beyond your legs. Do a slight chin tuck where you're pulling your chin down towards your chest to protect your neck. Really feeling your core engaged. About 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Release your legs back down. If you have a block, put it between your inner knees. If you don't, put a blanket between your inner knees. Shift your hips over to the left side of the mat and then drop your knees to the right side of the mat, taking a twist with the block between your knees. Arms out to a T. Look over your left shoulder if that feels okay. Again, feel the sensation of the floor as it supports you. If you want more twist, you can take your right hand and place on your left leg, turning your torso more to the left. Feeling your belly muscles engage, like you're wringing them out as you twist to the left. And then inhale, come back up to center. Shift your butt a little bit to the other side, and then drop your knees to the left. Arms out to a T. You can look over the right shoulder. You're welcome to take more of that twist. You're holding on the outer right leg. You're turning your torso to the right. Feeling the floor support you. Letting go of tension in your jaw. Allowing your eyes to soften, maybe even close. And then inhale to come back up. So keep the block there. This time you're going to lift your hips up a little bit to the left. Lift your feet off the floor. Squeeze your block. And then this is going to be more core now. You're going to slowly bring your knees towards the right. Hover them. Don't let them drop. Keep your left shoulder connected to the floor. Only go as far over as you can keep that left shoulder connected, and you can really engage your core muscles. Imagine you can draw your knees higher towards your right arm. Hold. Really draw your belly towards your spine as you twist the knees to the right. Again, the knees are hovering. Squeeze the block, flex your feet. And then inhale, come back to center. Place your feet down. Shift your hips a little bit to the right. Again, lift your feet off the floor, squeeze the block, flex your feet, and start to move your knees over to the left. Keep the right shoulder connected to the earth. So the knees don't drop to the floor, let them hover. Squeeze the block. Keep that right shoulder anchored. Really use your core muscles to help anchor the shoulder. your core muscles to help twist the knees to the left. Imagine you could draw your knees closer towards that left arm. And then inhale to come back to center. Release your feet back down to the floor. Feet hip distance apart, arms by your sides. Again, push into your feet, push into your heels, lift your hips up for a bridge pose. Squeeze your butt muscles, push into those arms, push into the feet. Again, we haven't done too much yet, opening the front of the hips, so it's not going to be your biggest back bend. Drive those heels down, squeeze your butt muscles to lift the hips up. And then slowly lower back down. Roll onto your side, use your hands to press up, and then you're going to come into downward facing dog, facing the front of the mat. So spread your fingers nice and wide, feel the connection of each fingertip to the ground. As you straighten the legs, feel the connection of each toe as it touches the floor. Keep your belly engaged as you lift your hips high to the sky. Imagine you can lift your armpits like they're floating away from the floor, even as you push your chest toward your thighs. Down dog. Find your breath. You take in all these sensations in this moment. We accept, we acknowledge these sensations. And then as our mind starts to think about and scatter around and all those fragmented parts of ourselves, you just come back to your sensation, to your breath. You're feeling your body. You're experiencing this moment fully. If it feels better to bend your knees slightly, you can, to lift your hips higher to the sky. You'll probably get more stretch in the lower part of your calf muscles when you do that. On an in-breath, step your right foot between your hands. You can put a blanket underneath that left knee and bring the left knee down to the floor. If you have a block, you can put it to the outside of the right hip. Squeeze your left glute through a little tuck of your pelvis, so we're doing a hip flexor stretch on the left. You'll feel a stretch and sensation through the front of the left hip. Reach your arms up, touch the sky. Really push down into your right heel and lift up tall through your fingertips. Squeeze that left glute. You're welcome to bend the right knee slightly more to get a little bit more stretch through the front of that left hip. But more important to really squeeze your left glute to get that opening through the front of the left hip. Bring your right hand to your hip or to the block that's on the outside of your right hip. Reach your left arm up and over, taking a side stretch. Switch arms and bring your right hand to your hip. There you go. Keep squeezing that left glute. Pretend like you could pull your right heel back to the back edge of the mat, and imagine you could draw your left knee forward to the front edge. So all these little cues are bringing you into this moment, bringing you into the sensation in your body, into the way that you can move and stretch your body, the way you can activate muscle groups. Inhale, come up to center. Reach your left arm forward, reach your right arm back. Twisting over your right leg now. You're turning your belly open to the right. Squeeze your left glute. Drive your right heel down. So all the muscles around the pelvis are really working and engaged. Your belly is strong. Use your belly to twist you to the right. You're welcome to stay right here, or you can take your right hand down and touch the back of your left leg, and then reach your left arm up. You're also welcome, if you have a block, to place that hand, the right hand down on the block. I sort of put it behind my right hip. And then I reach up and over. So it's a big stretch through the front of that left hip. Deep breathing. Relax your jaw. Stay present in your sensations. Stay present in your breath. Inhale to come back to center. Touch the floor with both hands. Feel the floor beneath you. Feel the space between your fingers, and then lift up in a downward facing dog. So sometimes we go so fast, we miss all this. We miss all this sensation and this feeling. So if we can do it here, we get better at doing it outside of here, in the real world. Step your left foot forward, bring your back knee down to the floor, second side. You can place the block to the outside of the, oh, sorry about that. Sorry, that was my husband's phone ringing. And then it went through his computer. Okay, squeeze your right glute. Little tuck of the pelvis, reach your arms up. Drive that left heel down. Pretend like you can pull your left heel back behind you and your right knee forward. Lift up, stretch up through the front of your belly. Remember, you can bend the left knee a little bit more if you want more stretch. And then we'll take the side stretch. Left hand goes to the block or left hand to your hip, and then reach the right arm up and over. Squeeze your right glute, get long through that right side, feel a stretch through the front of the right hip. Pretend like you could pull your left heel back behind you, your right knee forward. Feeling the stretch sensation, feeling the muscle activation sensation. Feeling your heart rate increase. Inhale, come back to center. And then we'll twist right arm forward, left arm back. Squeeze that right glute as you turn your belly to the left. Feel your belly muscles engage to turn you. You're welcome to stay there. Take the left hand down your back leg and then reach the right arm up. You can also take a block. Place it sort of, my block is right next to my right knee that's on the floor. Reach up and over if that feels better. Push that left heel down as you reach up. Keep your spine long, especially your low back, like you're lifting your low back up away from the floor. Inhale, come back to center. Again, place both hands flat on the floor. Feel your fingertips. Look at the spaces between your hands. Make them even, right to left. And then lift up, downward facing dog. Come forward, plank pose, top of a push-up. Look at those fingertips. Pull them or claw them into the floor. Pull your belly in. Squeeze your arms and legs towards each other. Feel all that firing in those muscle groups. Notice if you start to shake a little bit because it's hard to hold this position. Then to lower down, either bring your knees to the floor first or lower down straight legs. Come all the way to your belly. Reach your arms back behind you, palms face down to the floor. Do a little tuck of your pelvis, push your pubic bone into the floor, draw your shoulder blades down your back, locust pose, legs up, arms up. Look forward slightly, but still down at the floor. You might even feel your pulse as it's pushing into the floor in your belly. So hard to breathe in this position, so appreciate that it's hard to expand your belly, so it's hard to get a nice deep inhale. Inhale to release, press back, downward facing dog. Again, feel the fingertips into the floor. Feel where your knuckles meet your hands and feel that ground down into the floor. Spread your toes. Feel each toe. Can you feel the difference between your big toe, your second, third, fourth, fifth toe? Can you feel them? Actually feel them on the floor. On an in-breath, step your right foot forward again. This time go wide with your right foot to the right side of your mat. Left knee's down on the floor. You can stay up onto your hands. So your hands are on the inside of the front foot. You can stay up here, or you can come down into your elbows, maybe onto blocks if you can't quite get there. Feeling the stretch in your right groin area and also the front of your left hip. Draw your belly in away from the floor, even as your pelvis settles down towards the floor. Can you feel your right toes spreading, connecting to the floor? Big toe and then all the other four toes. Can you try to lift the arch of the right foot away from the floor by pushing your big toe into the floor more? And feeling like you can pull your your big toe back towards your inner heel. So really lifting the arch of that right foot. You can even watch it. And as you breathe and hold the pose, you might be able to go lower onto your elbows or come down to blocks. If you're on your elbows, come back up onto your hands. Option 1, bring your right hand to your hip, twist open, right arm up to the sky. Option 2, bend your back knee, reach around, left hand holds foot. Flare your toes as you pull your heel towards your left butt and then open your chest to the right. Whichever option you're doing, try to stay in the center of your left knee. We tend to roll to the outer edge of it. You're welcome to come onto your left elbow. Those of you that are holding your foot, that'll give you more stretch through the front of that left thigh. Come back to the sensation of the right foot, grounded into the floor. Engage the arch. Draw your shoulder blades down your back as you open your chest to the right. Good work. Inhale to slowly let go of the foot if you have it, or slowly unwind, and then press back into downward facing dog. Again, spread the fingers. Look at the space. Try to make them match. Right and left hand match. Even where your pinkies are placed on the mat, they match right and left. Take your right leg straight back behind you. Bend your right knee and twist your hips open like you could stack your right hip on top of your left. Squeeze your left inner heel, left inner calf, left inner thigh in towards the middle of your mat as you open your right knee up to the sky. Belly stays strong, left armpit stays lifted, breath stays steady. Inhale to release that side. And just take a moment in your down dog and feel left to right, feel the differences. After moving and stretching and getting the blood going in each area, just notice the difference right to left. And then we'll take it to the second side. Left foot comes forward, wide to the left side of the mat. Back knee down to the floor. For a groin stretch or lizard pose, staying up on your hands, bending your elbows, coming onto blocks, or coming all the way down to the elbows to the floor. Look at that left foot. Spread your toes. You're still driving your left heel into the floor, but really try to drive your left big toe down and try to pull your left big toe towards your inner heel, and that'll make your arch lift away from the floor. You might almost feel like your foot's going to cramp when you do that, but you're really engaging those small muscles of your feet to lift that arch up. Belly engages, like the belly's drawing away from the floor as the pelvis moves down towards the floor. Walk your hands back up if you're on your elbows. Take it into the twist. Twist your belly to the left, reach your left arm up. Or take it into the thigh stretch where you bend your right knee, reach around left hand, holds foot. You can hold the inner or the outer edge of the foot, whatever works for you, as long as you're spreading your right toes as you pull the right heel towards your right butt. You can come onto your right elbow if that feels accessible, if that feels like that's a life-enhancing pose. So you can maintain your breath, you can maintain being on the center of your right thigh, you can maintain your core activation. Inhale to slowly let go of the foot or unwind. Place your hands flat, spread the fingers evenly, coming into your mindful down dog. Lift your left leg back behind you, bend your left knee, twist open. Keep spreading your hands, spreading your toes. Squeeze, like you could pull your right heel, your right inner knee, your right inner thigh, like you could pull it in towards the center of your mat as you open the left knee up to the sky. Lift your right armpit high away from the floor as you push down with your hands into the floor. Inhale, release that side, Again, just take a moment in your down dog and feel, notice, acknowledge. Come forward, plank pose, top of push-up, hold here. Squeeze your arms and legs like you'll pull them in towards each other more. Look at those fingertips, push them into the floor. No space between your hand and the floor. Lower down either to your knees first or straight legs, come to your belly. Hands are still on either side of your chest, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and then inhale, curl up into cobra pose. Keep your pelvis connected to the floor and only lift up as high as you can keep the pelvis connected. Squeeze your butt muscles. Push your pubic bone into the floor as you draw your shoulder blades down away from your ears. Gazing forward slightly, maybe slightly up, but please don't throw your head back. Push the big toe and click your little toe down into the floor evenly. Good job, guys. Inhale to release, and then press back into downward facing dog. Place your hands, look at those fingers, make the space even. Even look at your feet and look at the edges of the mat and make the right and the left foot even of where they are in relation to the edge of the mat. Spread the toes. If it feels better to keep a little bend in your knees so you can lift your hips higher to the sky, go for it. It'll also stretch that lower part of your calf muscle, so it's nice to do down dogs with bent knees just because it stretches the calf a little bit differently. And then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat, coming into a forward fold position. Take your feet as wide as you need to, bend your knees as much as you need to feel good in the backs of the legs, to make it feel nice in your low back as you fold forward. Belly is still strong, allow your head to lengthen towards the floor. Draw your shoulder blades towards your back pockets. And then give a little bend in your knees, bring your hands to your hips, inhale to rise all the way up to stand. Take a wide stance to face the long edge of your mat. We're going to come into side angle pose, so if you want a block nearby, please grab one. Take your right toes and point them straight ahead to the front of the mat. Left foot parallel to the back of the mat. Bend your right knee, bring your right elbow to rest on your right thigh. Reach your left arm alongside the ear, side angle. You're welcome to bring your right hand to the floor, to a block. Go to the inner or the outer edge of the foot. Either way is fine today, if that feels like that's a good pose for you. If you get any pinching in the front of your right hip, please come up out of it. Big stretch along the whole left side of the body. Find your breath. There's so much. Sometimes it's an overload of sensation that's going on. So a lot of things happening in the left shoulder, the right hip, the front of the left hip, lots going on. So we feel as much as we can. We're as present with all of it as we can. We stay steady with the breath. And then inhale, come up. And switch sides. Side angle to the left. Bend the left knee, bring the left elbow to the left thigh. Reach the right arm up and over. Side angle to the left. Keep your core engaged, like you're pulling your pubic bone up towards your belly button. That'll help engage your core and also your glutes. Reach that right arm long and feel that stretch sensation in your right low back and the side of your right hip, even deep into your right belly. You're welcome to bring the hands to the floor to a block. And just be here. It's going to be over soon, right? There's some poses that we don't like and we want to get out of them pretty quickly. So this is a good practice to say, can I be with this sensation? Can I be with my breath? And as my brain starts to say, oh, I got to get out of this, you just come back to the breath and the sensation. It's a good training for all the things that we want to get out of in life. Like the coronavirus, we're like, oh, when it's over. Well, right now we're in it, so we feel it all, with it all. Inhale, come all the way back to stand. All right, first side again. This time we'll do triangle pose, so both legs are straight for this one. Have your block handy. Both legs straight, start to hinge over the right leg, bringing the right hand to your block or to the floor. Reach your left arm up to the sky. So you want to be able to open your chest up. If you have trouble doing that, use a block underneath your right hand. That'll make it a little bit easier to open the chest up. If you're touching the floor, try to get your right arm to touch your outer right shin. That'll help to engage that whole leg more. Open your chest up. Again, find your breath. Feel your tendency to want to get out of it. Obviously, if there's pain or something going on, modify, adjust as you need. But there's a tendency to try to say, okay, on to the next, on to the next. Can we just be, can we be here right now? Feeling it all. Bring your left hand to your hip, look down at the floor. You're going to shift forward, coming into half moon pose, where you balance on the right hand and right foot. Use a block underneath the right hand if you need to. Tuck the right tail under. So you want to be able to try to open your chest up. That's why using the block can be helpful, or even putting your right hand at a wall. You can take the left arm up to the sky. You can look up to the sky. Keep a little bend in the right knee and try to put a little bit more weight into the right heel. And you feel the waver, right? You feel the waver like you're almost going to fall. And you might fall out of it, and you just get back in. You might almost fall and catch yourself right before, and then you readjust and you find your stability again. Good work. Bend your right knee, slow motion, step back into your triangle. Take a breath there, savor it, feel it. And then a little bend in your right knee, and then inhale to come back up to stand. Other side, triangle. So if you want your block, grab it. Both legs straight. Start to hinge over your left leg, bringing your left hand to the floor or to the block. Tuck your imaginary tail under, especially on the left side, to engage your belly and open your chest. Reach your right arm straight up. If your left hand is on the floor, try to make it touch your outer left leg. Pull the two in towards each other. Tuck your imaginary left tail, open up. And notice maybe you feel this in different places than you felt on the other side. And you do all that good alignment, and you think about your left foot, and then you think about your core, and then you go back to your left foot, and you go back to your core. So we're constantly back and forth and feeling the sensation and engaging and doing the alignment. Start to expand our own awareness and our understanding of the present moment. Bring your right hand to your hip, look down at the floor, shift forward again, coming into half moon. So that's a big thing as we come into each pose. It's like, oh, it's like a new experience. Like, I thought I knew this pose, and then it expands even more. And our understanding expands even more about the pose and about our bodies and about our breath. And it's the same thing in life. It's like if we can just be present, then that moment starts to expand and open to us. And we start to see and notice and learn even more than we thought was happening. Keep that weight in the left heel, hang in there, tuck your pelvis under. I just realized I wasn't tucking at all. So no big deal. If you lose it, you try again. If you lose your attention, you come back. Bend that left knee, slow motion, step back into your triangle pose. Little bend in the left knee, inhale, rise all the way up. Woo, good job. Walk your feet together, and then you're gonna go to your wall space. If you don't have wall space, you're gonna work on downward facing dog. If you have wall space, you can place your mat right up against the wall. And I'll show you two options, so don't worry, if you don't have the wall, I'm gonna show you both options. So option one, you're gonna do down dog. And you would play with lifting one leg, too close to the wall, lift one leg, hold here, and then you would switch and hold, lift the other leg. Okay, so building strength in your arms, getting a big stretch through the back of the legs. So that's option one. Option two, you'd sit at the wall, place your butt right up against the wall, and you mark where your heels are. I'll put the block where my heels are so I know. Then I come back up, place my hands, and I'm placing the base of my wrist right where the block was. Come up into your down dog, and then you're walking up into an upside down facing L. I think all you guys on this Zoom call know how to do this. So you're welcome to play with the L at the wall, where you're upside down in the shape of an L. You're building strength in your shoulders. You're getting used to being upside down. You're getting used to the sensation of your hips, your shoulders, your wrists all in one line. If you're comfortable with that, you can play with lifting one leg, hold, and then play with lifting the other leg. If you're in down dog, you just play with lift one leg, hold, maybe 3 to 5 breaths, and then you take the other side, and then you can take a little break and take a child's pose. If you're playing with your L at the wall, again, play with one foot lift, the other foot. If you're coming out of it because you're tired, that's fine. Just take a child's pose in between. If you want to come back up and try to play with it again, you can go upside down again. Keep your belly engaged, no compression in your low back, whichever version you're doing. Really draw your belly towards your spine. You got about 20 more seconds to play with whatever version you're doing. And then when you're finished, you're going to come into child's pose. And you feel the sensation, okay, now all the blood's not rushing to my head. You feel the sensation of your blood pressure settling out. Your heart rate is dropping. Your breathing rate is dropping back to rest. You take nice long inhales, nice long exhale. Feeling it all in this moment and expanding your understanding and appreciation for this moment and what it offers. You can slowly press yourself back up. And you're going to stay at the wall. Again, if you don't have a wall, it's not the end of the world. I'll tell you what to do. But if you have a wall and you have a blanket, put it right up against the wall. We're going to do a thigh stretch of the wall. If you have blocks, you can bring them with you. If you don't have blocks, it's okay. You're going to put your right knee on the floor and your right foot on the wall. And you're going to step your left foot forward. If you didn't have a wall, you could just put blocks or maybe prop your foot up on a couch behind you. You could put the blocks a little bit higher or find a surface that you can put your foot onto. But if you have the wall, you're going to push your foot into the wall. Keep your hands at the floor on the blocks to start. Squeeze your right butt as best you can with your torso more forward over that left leg. And just try here to engage your right glute. Notice that it's hard. And you feel the sensation of stretch through the front of your right thigh. You can stay right here. This is a lot for a lot of us. Or you can bring your hands up to rest on your left thigh. So when you do that, then all of a sudden it's really hard to engage your right glute. Super hard. And you try. Whew, this is a huge stretch for me today. It's a little tight back there. If you're like, wow, this is a piece of cake, then you could reach your arms up. I'm not there today, but you could reach your arms up to the sky. Sometimes I'm resting my right hand on my right heel behind me. I'm kind of pushing down into my heel so I can lift my torso longer up away from the floor. Whew. That'll give a little bit more stretch sensation. You're welcome to bend the left knee a little bit more. Belly, stay strong. Try not to get a big arch in your back because then you're just stretching your back rather than the front of your right thigh. I'm trying so hard to be present because I really want to get out of this pose. So if you're having the same experience, know you're not alone. And then inhale to slowly release. Whew. Okay, second side. Left knee down on the floor. Left foot either on the wall or on a couch behind you or propped up so that your left knee is bent. Start with your hands on the blocks. This is the nicest version of the stretch. And you're squeezing your left glute. And then you can stay here, or you can walk your hands up on the front of your thigh. Whew. You feel the sensation of stretch through the front of the left thigh. And that's too much, then you just come back and bring your hands to the blocks. If you're pushing into the wall, really, or if your foot's to the wall, really try to push that foot into the wall, lift up through the top of the head, and the spine lifts up. And sometimes I bring in my left hand to my left heel, and I'm pushing down into my heel to help rise up in my torso even more. You're welcome to reach both arms up to the sky. If that feels like that's in the cards for you today, go for it. Good strong core, nice easy breath. Good work. Inhale to slowly release that side. All right, come on up to stand. And at the wall, you're going to bring your left hand to the wall. Keep a little bend in your left elbow. Draw your left shoulder blade down your back, away from your head, and then start to turn your torso to the right. So you're turning your chest away from the wall to get that stretch through the front of your left chest. Really push your hand, like push it into the wall, like you're trying to turn your body away from it. Also imagine you could push your left inner elbow more forward to get more sensation of stretch through the front of your left chest. Belly stays strong. Think your torso or your rib cage is straight up and down. There's no arch in your spine right now. And then inhale to slowly let go. And then you'll switch sides. So right hand to the wall. Draw your right shoulder blade down away from your ear. Push that right hand into the wall, then turn your chest away from the wall. So I'm really pushing, I'm imagining that I'm turning my chest. It doesn't move, but I'm imagining I could turn it more to the left. I'm also imagining I could push my right inner elbow more forward as I pull my belly and my rib cage back to the back of my body. And then inhale to unwind. All right, last one at the wall. So this will be if you want the wall to balance. We're going to go from dancer's pose. So either a thigh stretch going into dancer's pose, and then I'm going to invite you, if you guys want to go to what's called Ardha Chandra Chapasana, which is like half moon pose with a thigh stretch. But if you have a wall, you guys should all be able to do it as long as you're on a wall. It's harder once you go all the way to the floor. So I'm going to do it at the wall to show you. Left hand to the wall. You're going to bend your right knee and hold the outer edge of the right foot for a thigh stretch. Pull your right heel towards your butt, sit up nice and tall on your spine. So you don't have to go any further, you can stay right here. Keep a little bend in your left knee and lift your chest up towards the sky. You can start to kick your foot back into your hand coming into dancer's pose. Really squeeze your right butt cheek. Kick that right leg back by squeezing your right butt, but also kick your foot into your hand and use your hand to lift your foot. Keep it pain-free in your back. There shouldn't be any compression in your low back. And then from here, you just open. So you're gonna open your hips like you're stacking your right hip on top of your left. You can keep holding the wall as you do this. Those of you that want more stretch, you can come down and bring your left hand to a block or to the floor. The key is to squeeze your right glute and kick that right leg back into your hand, and then use your hand to kick the foot back even further. So if you feel stuck on the wall, try bringing your left hand to a block. It's obviously more stretch in the hamstring and the quad, and you just do what feels best for you. Find your breath, come back to sensation, hang in there. Slowly release the foot, and then come back up to stand. All right, I think we are all good on that. If there's any questions, you can shout them out, but if not, you're gonna go to the other side. So the right hand's gonna go to the wall. Bend your left knee, coming into a thigh stretch. Keep that little bend in the right knee as you pull your left heel towards your butt. Pull your belly back towards your spine and do a little tuck of your tail so you're not in a back bend yet. Then you can stay right here in the thigh stretch. Or you can move into dancer's pose where you start to kick the leg back behind you by squeezing your left butt. Also use your hand to pull your foot back. Also kick your foot into your hand. You can start to walk that right hand along the wall, or you can reach it forward to balance. Keep drawing your belly towards your spine. If you want to now we're going to roll open. So you're going to stack your left hip on top of your right. Keep the hand at the wall, or walk the right hand down the wall, maybe towards a couch or towards a block. Taking it into Ardha Chandra Chapasana, or half moon pose with a thigh stretch, aka sugar cane pose. Keep that bend in the right knee. Put the weight in the right heel. If you fall, like I just did, you get back in it. Come back to the moment. Don't worry about the fall. You come back to the sensation. Come back to the alignment. Come back to your breath. Slowly release hold of the left foot. Step down with the left foot. Bring your hands to your hips. Come back up to stand. Let's come onto your elbow. So come down onto hands and knees. And you're going to interlace your fingers on the mat. Press your elbows down, press the outer edges of your hands down into the floor, and then you're going to walk your feet back behind you so you come into a plank pose. So your knees are off the floor, or they can be on the floor. Knees off the floor, draw your belly towards your spine. Now we're going to move a little bit with this. So you're going to walk your feet in. You can take your feet wide as you walk them in. You can bend your knees, coming into dolphin pose. Hold in dolphin. Eventually you're trying to stack your shoulders on top of your elbows. Then walk your feet back out, coming into plank pose. We're going to do this maybe 5 times. Draw your belly towards your spine. Walk in, dolphin pose. Again, if you take your feet wide and bend your knees, it's easier. Keeping your legs straight and closer together is more challenging. Walk your feet back, plank pose. Walk in, dolphin pose. Feel the pressure of your hands pushing into the floor. Walk back, plank. Feel the pressure of your elbows. Feel the strength in your core. Walk forward. The strength in your shoulders. You may feel burning in your shoulders. Walk back, plank. One more. Walk forward, dolphin. Walk back, plank. Come down to your knees, child's pose. Toes touch, knees hip distance apart. Come back to your breath. Let your body recover. Feel the sensation in your shoulders. Mine are kind of on fire right now from doing that. Maybe you feel it in your hamstrings. Just notice what you feel, your experience, what your moment is offering. Come back up to hands and knees, please. I'm going to have options for you. If you have a blanket or a towel, grab it. Put it underneath your knees. You're going to step your right foot forward. So this is another thigh stretch version of a pose. Go a little bit longer, like walk your left knee back a little bit so that you're not straight down in your kneecap. You're more on like the top of your thigh. Okay, you're going to bend your left knee and reach around with your left hand to grab hold of the foot. So I have my right hand on a block, which is kind of nice. You can also put your right hand on your right thigh. You're pulling your heel towards your butt, so this is where it gets a little balancing. And you're going to try to bring your torso more upright. You're all going to reach your arm up as you pull your left heel towards your butt. If anybody knows mermaid pose, I'm going to angle a little bit so you can see me. You can sort of turn to your left foot, and I'm going to try to put my crook of my elbow around my big toe. So I'm sort of hooking my elbow around, which is a deeper thigh stretch, and then I'm going to try to turn my torso back forward. So I'm kind of holding with my forearm, I should say, my foot now. So it's a little bit deeper of a thigh stretch. It's a little bit more of a back bend. It's more balancing. Haven't done this in a really long time, so it's super, super tight. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then just hold your foot with your left hand. And then inhale to slowly release. Okay, so we'll try it on the other side. Left foot forward. Again, the right knee, you're sort of more on the thigh and then straight down in your kneecap. Bend your right knee, reach around, right hand holds foot. You can start with the left hand on a block or on a couch or on a table. Then you can creep the left hand up on your left thigh. Try to really tuck your imaginary tail under. You can reach your left arm up. If you want to take it into this mermaid version, I'm sort of turning my torso to my right foot. And I'm wiggling my forearm around sort of the top of my toes. Now I'm going to try to turn more forward again. Whew. You can reach the left arm up if you're doing that version of mermaid. Eventually you bend the elbows and your hands touch. I am nowhere close to that. So you be where you need to be. Inhale to slowly release. All right, we got one more thigh stretch. Final finale right there. So we're going to do side plank pose with a thigh stretch. So it's kind of like what we just did at the wall, only you're going to be balancing on your hand. So let's do the left hand down first. I'm going to show it with the left knee down on the floor. Right leg straight out. So you're in the side plank version with your left knee down on the floor. You can stay right here. You don't have to go any further. This is perfect. Or you can bend your right knee, reach around, right hand holds foot. Squeeze your right butt as you start to bring your right leg back behind you. Kick your foot into your hand and then use your hand to push or pull the foot back. You can stay here with the left knee on the floor, or you can do full side plank pose. So I'm on the outer edge of my left foot, and I'm doing the same exact thing. So it's more strength in your hip and your core and your ankle. It's more balancy, so you choose the one that allows you to get the thigh stretch. What allows you to hold the foot. And you just hang out in the really uncomfortable sensation and wanting to get out of it. And you just breathe. You keep your alignment. And then it's done. Slowly release. Okay, second side. I'm going to do it from the back so you can see me. Right hand down. Right knee can stay down, left leg long. It's called baby Kapinjalasana or baby bird pose. Keep your core strong. You can stay right here in your side plank, or you can lift your left foot off the floor, bend your left knee, reach around, left hand holds foot. Squeeze your left butt to bring the left leg back. Then kick your foot into your hand. Then use your hand to kick the foot back even more. You can stay there with the knee down. You can play with full baby bird pose on the outer edge of the right foot. Squeeze that left glute as you kick back. Again, feel the wavering, feel the unsteadiness. Feel how your breath is short. It's hard to even breathe in this pose. Try to soften your gaze, find one point to focus on. Almost done. Inhale to release. Child's pose. Toes touch, knees hip distance apart. Let it feel restful. So whatever you need to do with your hands, your head to feel rested. To feel like you can recover. Feel the weight of your legs as they're pressing against the floor, and the floor is pressing back up into them. And then slowly walk your hands back up. Come to take a seated position. If you want to sit on a blanket, please do so. Take your left leg straight out in front of you, cross your right leg over. Give that right knee a hug with your left arm. Take your right fingertips behind you. Ardha Matsyendrasana, or Amarichyasana variation. Keep the left leg straight, push the left heel down into the floor as you turn your belly to the right. As you pull that right knee across from you, push the right knee back into your arm. So feel that stretch in your right glute. You're welcome to hook the left elbow. If that feels like that's the best version of the stretch, best version of the pose for you. Push your right foot down into the floor as you twist to the right. Inhale to release. Second side, right leg straight. Cross your left foot. Hug your knee in with your right arm. Take your left fingertips behind you. Personally, I like the version where I pull with my arm rather than hooking my elbow, but you do you. Feel what's best for you. Press that right heel flat down into the floor. Whole right leg pushes straight down. Push your left foot into the floor. As you pull that left leg across, push your left leg back into the support of that right arm. So you feel this kind of push-pull, and that will give you more of a stretch in your left outer glute area. As you turn your belly to the left, use your core muscles to twist you. Your gaze is the last thing, and it goes towards wherever your left shoulder is pointing. Nice inhale and exhale. And then inhale to unwind. Take your legs straight out in front of you. You can sort of remove, kind of take your flesh and drag it back so you really feel your butt bones underneath of you. Sit up nice and tall. You can take your hands behind you. You can walk your hands forward. You can hold a strap around your feet and to fold forward. Elbows wide, draw the shoulders away from your ears. Nice long spine as you fold forward. You should be pain-free in your back. You can always bend your knees a little bit. That feels better on your low back. Just try to be with your sensations, be with your thoughts, whatever they might be. And if they take you elsewhere, you just come back to the sensation and your breath and the new thought that just crossed your mind. Inhale to come back up. Come to lay on your back. You can hug both knees in towards your chest. Take them wide if that feels nice in your back. You can even rock side to side a little bit on your low back as the knees are wide out to the side. You're welcome to do happy baby if that feels good for you right now, where you hold the outer edges of the feet and the soles of the feet point straight up to the sky. And just gently rock side to side if that feels good on your low back and your spine. And then allow your legs to go long in front of you for Shavasana. Final relaxation. So this is the hard part. You did the easy part. So the hard part is being in the present moment with your thoughts. So as you're quiet, as we're no longer focused on all these alignment cues, you're just with your body, your breath, your thoughts, which can sometimes be really uncomfortable. So pick something. It could be your breath. It could be sound. It could be the sensation of your body. And you just come back to it over and over. It might not feel very glamorous or entertaining, but there's so much hidden in this moment. And when we come back to either sound or sensation or breath, the moment is more revealed to us. Like it's offering an insight was able to make a shift and come back to my breath, to sound, to sensation. So you're gaining endurance here so that you can better navigate and to be present in all the moments outside of the practice of yoga. All the mundane, all the challenging, all the joyful moments. Can I really be present? Bring your attention back to sound. Allow your breath to deepen. Slowly start to move and stretch in any ways that feel best for you. And take your time and pay attention to each knuckle, each joint as you roll and stretch, savoring and feeling the sensation. Eventually you'll bend your knees and roll to the right side. Thank your body for its support. We're so grateful for this vessel that carries us in each moment. The body, the breath, our minds, our hearts are always present in each moment. Use your hands to press yourself back to a seated position. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, palms touching. And just feel the pressure beneath each fingertip as it pushes into the other. Feel a small space between your palms. With my whole heart, I thank you so much for practicing and being present with me. It's such a gift to share this practice with you, and may we go out into the world to be more present and mindful and loving and patient so we can change and shift the world into a better place. The light that is me bows to the light that is you. Namaste.